All right, ladies and gentlemen, this is Blessed and Gifted Terrific Thursday as I'm sitting in a Ram truck with my granddad out here in this field. He's mowing his lawn, and I'm sitting in here, making a video about the election. Yeah, let alone any other updates that I might be able to name. Yeah, wickedly smart. I say that because you want to tell things y'all don't know about who I am and or my brain, how it functions and stuff like that, and or how it malfunctions, I know I'm smart. I don't know where my IQ is, but I know I'm smart. I'm highly intelligent. Ladies and gentlemen, especially before I say certain things, if not directly after I say certain things, my brain almost works like a dang computer. To where immediately after I say certain things, a trigger goes off in my head of like, wait a minute, should I have said that? Or if I did say that, how to better explain it, and so on and so on. Like, my brain works like a freaking computer at times when it comes to keywords, trigger words, certain phrases, and so on. Like, okay, should I more elaborate on this? Should I have not said that? Yada, 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 yada. Just to let you understand, very interesting person is who I am. Other than that, election Thursday. This election is something else, tremendously something else. I mean, I promise to God, on Tuesday night, I'm like, Trump got this thing in the bag. He's literally winning everything except for Nevada, it seemed. And I'm like, the whole night, let alone even into Wednesday morning, and even into Wednesday night. It's like, you're not going to tell me that they're not calling Georgia for him and North Carolina for him because it's too early. They're not calling him because they don't want to give him those two states. They are really trying to jack this thing from President Trump. No matter who you voted for, I'm here to tell you exactly that. They're trying to jack this thing from him, and everybody can tell it, which is why now you're seeing some of these protests, protests and rallies of, I think, anybody, but just definitely I can think of Trump supporters saying either A, stop the counting, if not B, continue the counting. It seems like Trump supporters, I think from the last time I checked, Trump supporters are the ones that are saying stop the counting, or at least in those chosen states of like North Carolina, Pennsylvania, Georgia. They're just saying stop the counting. Versus, I guess Biden supporters would be saying continue the counting in places like Arizona, if not also Nevada, etc. And I've still told you before, man, I'm a black independent conservative, so I really see both sides of the aisle of where everybody goes right versus where everybody goes left, and I try what I can, to absolutely God first, piece it all together for the most beautiful picture which I possibly can. But I can assure you that, forces that be are literally trying to steal the election from President Trump. Because you're not going to tell me that Biden was getting washed by President Trump with literally when I went to bed, every state except for Nevada, he was washing Biden in. And you mean to tell me I wake up and now Wisconsin and Michigan are now close in terms of like now you're gonna tell me that, wait a minute, I went to bed with Trump having a 10-point, if not definitely over 5-point lead advantage, and you mean to me I wake up and now they're like neck and neck? Are you kidding me right now? And that's a big point what I'm trying to get people to understand. Like, and let alone, I mean, and then there's a reason why they wouldn't call some of these states, because they're trying to steal it from him. They're trying to. It's evident. I mean, Trump's been leading in Georgia for God knows, again, for the last 2 days. He's been leading in Georgia, leading in Carolina for the last 2 days. They're trying everything they can to make this thing is neck and neck, steal this thing from President Trump. Because I'm telling you, you're not going to tell me that, and like I tweeted out earlier today on my Twitter, you're not going to tell me that with in-person voting, Trump was washing Biden, and now magically when you bring in a bunch of mail-in ballots, it's being neck and neck. Nuh-uh. That means you are falsifying those ballots, and everybody can tell. Everybody can tell. I mean, definitely some meddling went on full through, and the American people are not going to have it. they're not going to have, especially if you pay attention to the early numbers of election night when Trump was washing Biden in literally 7 out of 10 states, if not 8 out of 10 states. Nuh-uh, you're not going to fool the American people into thinking for one possible second that many people voted for Biden. You're not going to fool the American people to think that. You're just not. Now, obviously, Biden has his supporters. God bless Biden supporters. But you're not going to tell us that many people voted for him. Because this is the thing. You can like Biden and still not vote for him. Vice versa with Trump. You can like Trump and still not vote for Trump. I mean, and dare I say, you can hate Trump but still like his policies. You know? You can not think that Joe is fit to run, but still vote for him because, his policies. So that's kind of where those tides go. Those tides goes in various different areas, very different arrays. It just all depends on, dare I say, which ones God first works best for you. But you're just not going to tell me personally and think I'm stupid enough to believe you that when I went to bed, Trump was washing Biden in literally 7 out of 10, if not 8 out of 10 of the polls. And you mean to tell me that when I get up 2-3 hours later, tell me that Biden is now neck and neck, with Trump, let alone leading a couple of them, like with Michigan and Wisconsin. Nuh-uh. No one's dumb enough to believe that. Unless you, once again, definitely did count a bunch of ballots, especially knowing that Trump's numbers are not going up. You mean to tell me Trump's numbers are not going up, but Biden's numbers are going up? Think about that. That's something else I probably should have mentioned 2 minutes ago. So Biden's numbers went up overnight. Trump's numbers pretty much stayed the same. You're not going to know. Everybody in a right mind who doesn't have a biasness towards President Trump can tell that is wishy-washy, that is rigged, and there's something sketchy going on there. Everybody with common rational sense, everyone who knows that 2 + 2 = 4 can understand there's something wrong with that math, etc. And like I said, black independent conservative, I like to try to see God first, both sides as I possibly can. But you're not going to fool me with this math and make me think that 2 + 2 = 5 or 7 when I know it equals 4. You're not going to fool me with this math. You're not going to, and God is my judge of winners, you're not going to tell me that many people voted for Biden. When you literally look at everything that's been going on in our society over 2020, let alone the last 2 to 3 months, you're not going to tell me that many people voted for Biden. Now, they might have hated Trump's guts, but you're not going to tell me that many people voted for Biden. You're just not going to tell me that or think I'm stupid enough to believe you, because I know that ain't true. Seeing that with in-person voting, Trump was washing Biden. And everybody can tell it, everybody sees it, everybody knows it, and that's why everybody's calling it out now, etc. Especially, as I just said, knowing that Biden's numbers overnight are going up. Trump's staying the same. What does that tell you? What does that tell you? So that's somewhat my reaction. I mean, I ain't gonna lie. I think like a lot of Trump supporters, I was my own self as well. Very fragile, I want to say, about yesterday. Like yesterday, I was very anxious. I think everybody was super anxious yesterday, super anxious. But I ain't gonna lie, woke up this morning and I'm feeling mostly fine because now I know what's going on. Now I know Trump is gonna win no matter what, whether they whether they rule it within the next couple of days, couple hours, or whether they have to go to court and they rule it a month from now. Trump is winning. Trump is winning. I'm going to title this video, Trump is winning. Exactly. I can tell. I can 110% tell. Yeah, I think yesterday, like a lot of Trump supporters, I myself was very anxious. Very, very anxious about yesterday. Like, oh my goodness, they're stealing this election. Because I want people to understand this. And I don't know why I am, again, a black independent conservative, but I'm also thinking to myself, why does it seem like I'm trying to avoid the fact that, yes, I'm okay with Trump, as I put in my one of my newest songs. I'm okay with Trump. I'm not Trump's biggest fan. I'm not Trump's biggest supporter. I'm okay with Trump. You know, I'm a mutual fan of Trump, and I mean mutual definitely in terms of I'm okay with Trump. You know, I definitely don't. You know, I definitely don't stand up for everything that comes out of his mouth, but I don't stand up for a lot of things that come out of a lot of people's mouth that I generally have love for and I generally care about and try to mentor to the best of my abilities. Like, dare I even say, God bless some of the kids out there, you know, that I love and support. I don't agree with everything that comes out of your mouth, but I still love you, support you, care about you, and want the best for you. So vice versa with Trump, you know. I don't agree with everything that comes out of his mouth, but I definitely still love him, care about him, believe in him, and want him to do better. You know, not just for himself, but for the country as a whole. And I think that's one of the best ways that you can, you can decipher between the two, honestly. Because yes, I'm okay with Trump. You know, I'm very much okay with Trump. Some of his policies are phenomenal. You know, especially the unbeatable, you know, pro-life stance. You kind of can't go against that, you know, to an extent. You know, the pro-life stance and the funding for HBCUs and just a bunch of other stuff that I can name. You know, let alone, you know, Ice Cube's platinum plan. You know, I mean, goodness gracious, you know, whether Trump has all the love in the world for the black community or whether he just has mutual love for everybody in general, you see that he's trying something more than what you saw previous, you know, presidents do, you know, and so on. And I think, as I meant to say in one of my last videos, last month, if not 2 months ago, but I think it was last month, Trump is trying to tell everybody you cannot tax the wealthy more than a certain. You can't not tax them more. You can't do it because the wealthy are going to get their money. Because the wealthy is going to get their money either way it goes. I think Trump was trying to. I think in the first debate, Trump was trying to tell us you cannot tax the wealthy more. You just can't do it because the wealthy are not going to pay it. The wealthy are going to get their money either way it goes. Let alone some of the wealthy are going to get that gap between them and you one way or another, either way it goes. Whether they have to cut your jobs or just pay you less, / and or not even promote you. And you've been working your butt off for how many months and years. The wealthy are going to keep that gap between you at any means, by any means necessary. So you cannot, they're going to get their money either way, whether they have to cut your jobs or just pay you less. They're going to keep that gap between you and them, most of the wealthy. So you cannot tax the wealthy more. You just can't do it, you know, and so on. Which I think that's what Trump was trying to tell us in the first election. But there's just certain stances also I just must say. There's certain stances that Trump has, and let alone policies, you just cannot get over. You cannot get away from. And I think that's one of the top things I think even people like Ice Cube were saying, let alone 50 Cent was saying. 50 Cent talked about the taxes and saying, I ain't paying this, you know, etc. And Ice Cube was saying, hey, I might not like the guy either, but it's best that we try to work with him while we can, rather than, you know, always bashing him all day and pretending like, you know, he's just gonna go away, I guess, you know, and so on. You know, as long as he's in office, it's wise and smart to at least try to work with him if he's willing to work with you to bring out the best in you know, in your community. Forgive me for, you know, when it comes to bringing that out. Like I said, sometimes I'm trying to get it out, and it's like, you know, but that's a big part of it. A big part of it. So yeah, I mean, I'm okay with Trump, and the math makes sense for both 50 Cent and Ice Cube. You may not like the guy, but and especially while the man's in office, it's better to try to God first work with him than it is to just, throw him to the scrap heap where nobody wins, etc. God first, on that, let alone indeed to bring out the best in your community, let alone bring out the best in a black community, hopefully, etc. And we have a lot of greats in a black community, a lot of greats, and the future of the black community totally depends on a lot of different factors, let alone the greats of a lot of other different communities, but definitely the black community depends on a lot of different factors, and by God's grace we can get, where we need to go in the God first timely fashion, and people once again, try to, put their thinking caps on and chase their dreams and think of ideas on how to do that, etc. So I think I got more coming soon. But yeah, thank you for listening, watching, and subscribing. Yeah, I'm okay with Trump. Not as big as fan, not as big as supporter, but I ain't gonna lie,